It cut off again, but we are continuing with the video, which actually became a series now since it's multiple videos on the same subject. It's a series now, basically. But this is part three to why black people are not blessed. I was getting into the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. So here we go. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all of his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Curse shall thy be in the city, curse shall thy be in the field. Yes, again, we are not blessed. We are the most impoverished, incarcerated. We are all scattered all throughout the streets, okay? A lot of us are homeless, that is. Um, we're in poor neighborhoods. We're around all the dope, all the different other types of drugs that they're sneaking in illegally. Um, man, that alone is bad. Um, Not only that, we're around all the murder, all the murdering and all of that stuff, all the theft, all the thievery. Uh, we're around all these businesses that don't give a damn about us, who are owned by these other nations, the Arabs, and they really don't like us. The Chinese, they over here selling us stuff that's ruining our people and putting us even further in debt and also keeping us in sin. A perfect example of this is let's get on the black women. Yeah, a lot of y'all black women are obsessed with this fake hair. You know what I'm saying? And that's the Most High ain't with that. The Creator do not want you covering up your natural beauty, your natural essence. I know a lot of y'all saying, well, I'm bald headed. Or, my hair won't grow. It only grows a certain length. Well, you got to read the Bible and understand why that's happening. That's a curse upon our people. You know, the Most High said that He will basically smite the scab of our, or the head of our people, men and women, but especially women, because he foretold these things just like he saw these things before they would happen. He knew basically that our people would go into um, the customs of these other nations, especially the Egyptians. When we were in that first captivity, we took up on the Jezebel spirit, both men and women, but especially the women. When the men took upon the Jezebel spirit, they became homosexuals and all that stuff. They started doing all that type of stuff. But when the woman took it on, when the women took it on, specifically the black chosen Israelites, when they took up on the customs of the Egyptians, aka the Canaanites, back in um, ancient Egypt, we started painting our eyelids and stuff like that. At least our the black women, not me. Okay. They started painting their faces. This is in the Bible, okay? And the Most High told us not to follow none of their customs, none of that stuff. Not to idolize what they do, not to envy what they do. Even though we were in captivity to them, He still wanted us to be strong minded and strong willed enough to where we didn't do what they did. But we did it anyway. And we're still doing it to this day. And we think that we look beautiful because we wear these things. You actually look like dumbass clowns with that crap on your face. You got these big ass eyelashes on your eyes, and I've always looked at them as wings. They look like bird wings. They look like they're getting bigger every year. Look like you can just fly away with them things. Just flap your eyes and fly away. Like, that's how goofy y'all looking with all these different, these hairstyles and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all looking like Bozo the Clown or like Ronald McDonald and stuff like that. You color, our people are so messed up right now. It's ridiculous. We coloring our hair color blonde and red and blue, and some of us is painting them rainbow color. That's beyond the Jezebel spirit. Now you're putting on that homosexual spirit because we have been lied to. We have been manipulated by these other nations who are really into that lifestyle, telling us that the rainbow represents the LGBT community, which of course it does now, but originally that was a sign from the Most High Creator that He would not destroy the planet again with water. Okay, He said He was not gonna, that was a promise that He made, and the sign of that promise was the rainbow. But Satan and his demonically possessed human beings on this planet, aka the Illuminati and all of the people who are up under them, following them, and also our people, a lot of us who are in the 2/3 club, as they call it, has fallen for it, and it puts a different, not only mentality on us, but a spirit, because it says in the Bible that we wrestle against, spirits, in high places. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against princes, spirits of wickedness in high places, principalities, and all of that. But back to these curses. We're on verse 17 now. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Cursed shall be thy basket in our store. Okay, so I was just explaining the blessings, and we are cursed when it comes to our businesses because we are not thriving like the other nations. Cursed shall be thy fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep. Which is true because a lot of us got bad health, we're eating bad, and we're not producing any food, we're not even growing, we don't even have the mentality to grow our own garden or to start our own garden so that we don't be dependent on these other nations. The Bible even tells us in the laws, that we should be cultivating our own land, even if we're renting from someone else, such as a landlord or whatever, and we're using their land, we're still paying for, to live there. So we can grow on that land even though we don't actually own the land. We could start a small garden, but a lot of our people don't do that. Cursed shall be thy when thy cometh in, and cursed shall be thy when thy goeth out. The Lord shall send upon thee curses, vexations, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hands up unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me, meaning you forgot him, or you just didn't care to seek him out. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he has consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goeth to possess it. A lot of us got pestilence. A lot of us got roaches in our houses. A lot of us got mice infestations, and we don't understand how we can get rid of these things. How those are curses. And also, a lot of us got bed bugs in our houses. Those are curses from the Creator. That's not happening in a rich community, or the upper middle class, or the so-called white community. And I'm not just talking about white Caucasians. I'm talking about any other nation who has Caucasian DNA in them, to where their skin is white or pale skin for the most part. Not all of them I know are, some of them that look Caucasian are actually our people. But for the most part, they got that white Caucasian, and also that that Neanderthal and Rhesus monkey blood DNA up in their genetics. So they're part of, all of that. So they're not part of our people, but yet they're doing good, is what I'm saying. Okay, so verse 22 in chapter Deuteronomy in chapter 28. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with fever, and with inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with the sore and blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust, which I believe is has to do with the chemtrails. So the fact that the government is spraying chemtrails over our land instead of fresh water coming down, and even when the water do come down, it's getting polluted because of all of the carcinogenic chemicals such as the aluminum, the barium, you know, the mercury, all of these different things that they took from nature that was toxic, but then they manipulated it in a factory or a laboratory somewhere and mass produced it in a factory and then issued it out through these government agencies using their government airplanes and all that to spew it all out in the atmosphere. That's what they do. They're confederate against us. They're all working against Israel. But nonetheless, the Lord saying he'll make the rain of the land powder and dust from the heavens, it shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. That's them chemtrails too. That got to do with that. Those are our curses. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies, and thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways against them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Yeah, right, because that's true, because we are being killed by the police and smitten even by our own people. They're killing us. Those are our curses. But when the police do it, it says in scripture that they kill the chosen and hold themselves not accountable. When they go to court, even the judges that are judging them, you think that they're not friends with the police officers, that they don't hang out and kick it and party and talk about, God's chosen people behind closed doors and stuff like that? They do. They're all confederate against us. They're all friends with each other. Verse 26 of Deuteronomy chapter 28, I'm reading on down. And thy carcass shall be meat until the fowls of the air, the birds of the air, and until the beasts of the earth, the lions and tigers, the dogs, and all of them, and no man shall fray them away. And the Lord will smite thee with blotches, with the botch of Egypt, and with the immersos, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst be healed. So basically, all of the plagues when it comes to diseases, and health problems, skin imperfections such as scabs and all of that, itching, bad health problems, basically. We got those issues. Those are curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. But going on, verse 28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Now, I'm not going to read all these because I know that my phone is likely going to cut off again the demonic entities that are around and about right now. They're probably going to mess with it soon. So I'm just saying these curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28 because I got to let y'all know that y'all are the chosen people and that we are not blessed here in the land of our captivity, especially here in the land of our captivity. Even though we appear to be doing good and looking good, and we give this big illusion and delusion that we are happy, we do that in front of our friends and families, but behind closed doors we're crying and wondering how we're going to pay our next bill, stuff like that. We just need to get out of the hypocrisy and keep it real. Okay, but to proceed, verse 28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and with blindness and with astonishment of heart. Now, let me get into that. I know I just repeated that, but with madness, a lot of our people are zoned out in the head. We're blind also because we don't know the truth when it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments. And we are in astonishment to other nations because people look upon us and be like, damn, what's up with them black people? Why they act like that? Why they, why they talk so much, when it come to, negative actions and stuff like that on the news and all that. But they don't understand scripture, of course. They definitely don't understand. I know our people are lost, a lot of our people, but they surely don't understand because the laws weren't given to them. And also, we could be an astonishment to ourselves. It says, an astonishment of heart. The heart is the mind and the spirit. You know what I'm saying? We just be zoned out. A lot of us be schizophrenic and paranoid, and we got demons on us because we don't read our Bible, and we don't do according to the law, statutes, commandments to rebuke those demons, and we don't fast and pray. So we got our people have the most demons basically right now. Uh, but it don't have to be that way. But proceeding, verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. See, everything we put our hands to, we started off good because we are the inventors, we are the originators of everything on this planet, believe it or not. But we never fully prosper with it because we go about it wrong. We don't establish those things. We don't invent those things and those businesses according to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Creator. And so he said that we will not prosper in our ways and we will only be oppressed. So we may make a little money, but we're going to still be oppressed at the end of it because we ain't going to have enough to pay rent. Not only for the business, to keep the business afloat and in business so that we can make more money to sustain, not only to pay to keep the business open, but to get more revenue or more inventory. Once we sell those products that are on the shelf, to get more inventory, we ain't gonna really be able to, we're gonna be oppressed mentally and physically. Our business ain't gonna prosper basically, and we're gonna be spoiled evermore. Meaning, we're gonna be relying on the government and all their bull crap when we are really meant to be the lenders and the head and lend to many nations. We're gonna be spoiled. We're gonna be dependent. We're gonna be oppressed. We're gonna be at a low state, mentally and physically. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Now, we all already know throughout history, real black history, pertaining to the slavery part. When we came over here on the slave trade, or the transatlantic slave trade, Slovakia, a lot of us had wives. We were already married, or at least we had some significant other. But what the white man did, and even these other nations that we were enslaved to, because we were in multiple captivities, but especially the Caucasians, let's focus on them. They would literally take our wives and have sex with them right in front of us, aka rape them. Because a lot of times our women, they didn't want to mess with no strange looking man who didn't even speak our English, or they didn't speak our language. They spoke English. And so they were raping our women right in front of us. And we would build houses. And a perfect example. We built a lot of these buildings, these infrastructures and stuff here in the United States, we literally built this country, but we don't get to enjoy the businesses. You know what I'm saying? We're still owed reparations and all that stuff. A lot of these houses we built just so these other nations, especially the so-called white man, could profit from it, make it a business, rent it out, and make money from the same people who he enslaved or, raped their ancestors and all that. We're the descendants from those progenitors of people. But nonetheless, we're in modern day slavery, basically. And again, to get off these curses, y'all can go read them for yourself. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse uh, 15 on up to like 63. Those are the curses, but verse 1 through 14 are the blessings. But y'all can go read that. But I'm going to get back off of my personal perspective of all of this. Okay, and then I'm going to end this. This is going to be part 3 if it don't cut off before then. Again, we are not blessed here in the land of our captivity because we're in debt. We're in servitude. We are always looking for other nations. We're not self-sufficient. We're not living off the land. And even if we was, we're not living off our own land. We're in some way, form, fashion, or time renovating, basically, because if we don't actually own the land, then we are renting property that is situated and established on that land. And so even if we grow in our own garden and all that, we still paying for it to some degree because we are the land that we are growing on, we are living on also, aka renting the property that is established on that land. So that's another form of modern day slavery, aka not being blessed, basically. Let me see. So you got that. You got servitude through the car dealerships. If you're not actually owning the vehicle, you're leasing it. You got the renovation of your home. These are all curses because, again, when it comes to the home, the Creator tells us to build our own home. We are literally just that creative. We're the original inventors, the architects, the envisioners, the educated, enlightened ones. Okay, we are supposed to create everything on the planet. Okay, we're not supposed to be serving nobody but the Creator who created us. Yeah, because we're his chosen people. But those who are he said that he will put us above all other nations. So why are we lending, or why are we borrowing from these other nations? They're lending to us and also at the same time spoiling us with the stuff that they advertise on television and then sell to us from the same money that they loan to us at interest. They're then manipulating us through the television to then go spend the money that we probably originally didn't want to spend for that crap anyway, but they manipulate us into buying things that we don't even need. So they're spoiling us with their goods that they created for more than likely something that we originally created, but they made their own derivative. So what they're selling us ain't even their original, it's just some derivative, something that they copied and made even more money off of. It's crazy. It's a domino effect. It's all a what do you call that? It's all a monopoly. It's a monopoly of your mind. It's a monopoly of, it's a monopolization of getting money from us, and also, just basically telling us, lending to us with fake fiat currency, and also telling us how to spend it. That's crazy, because you first you loan us the money with interest. Loaning in itself, that's a curse. That's not a blessing. But then doing it with interest, that's even more wicked. And then manipulating us into buying things that we don't even really need, that's even more curses. So we are definitely not blessed here in the land of our captivity, even though this is the last captivity that we're going to be in. And the 400 years has came and gone as of what was that, March 26th or 24th of 2019. But we're still in this land. We have not been redeemed. We have not been saved yet by the Creator. He has not came back yet. The one who the world called Jesus Christ, aka Yahusha, which means Yah is salvation. Yah is short for Yahuwah. So basically, Yahuwah is salvation. Yahusha, aka Yahuwah in the physical, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, has not come back yet to redeem his people, to put his people back in their homeland, which is the Kalahari Desert. That's the real Jerusalem, okay? It's not that land over there where them fake Jews are at. That land is just as fake as them fake Jews. Our land is in southern Africa, all the way on the opposite side of Africa. Not up there with Saudi Arabia and Egypt and all of that. That's all BS. And also, the real Garden of Eden, the real Mount Sinai, all of that stuff is actually it's on the opposite side of Africa. It's in southern Africa, in the Kalahari Desert. Again, did not the scriptures say that the Most High will not only kick us out of our land and scatter us and put us into captivity, but he said the original land will be desolate and full of jackals and lions. Let me see if I can get there real quick. But the land right now that them fake Jews are in, that is not our land. Our land is way bigger than that. Way broader, way more beautiful than that land. Okay, jackals. It might pop up if I just put jackals KJV. But nonetheless, the Creator said that he will make our land desolate. So we are not in our land yet. We're still in the land of our captivity, where our ancient ancestors, the Hebrew Israelites, aka the Yahuans or Yehudis or whatever we want to call them, were scattered to because they transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Creator. And we, being the descendants of them, are going through those same generational curses, even if we are practicing righteousness according to the law, statutes, and commandments right now. We're still going through the curses, just like the progenitors or the descendants from the evildoers back then of the Caucasian race. Those who descended from them who are alive today are benefiting from what they did, the evil that they did back then to establish this land. It's called white supremacy or white privilege. And so we are on the opposite side of that. Just like they're benefiting from the evil that their people did back then to establish this land, they're benefiting from all the good things. It's not really good because it was God. It came from evil. But nonetheless, they're benefiting here in this land through white supremacy and white privilege, because all of these laws that they establish are really just for the Caucasians and all the other genetically whitewashed races of people, whether it's the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, the who else? Anybody else who got white in their blood, whoever got Caucasian in their blood, they're doing good. They're not doing as nearly as bad as the chosen people, the AKA the African Americans and all of that, because we are in the land of our captivity. Even though it's the last captivity, even though we're trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, okay? And they're doing good because This land was established on rape, rob, murder, manipulation, thievery, all of that stuff. But the Most High allowed it. But this is their heaven. This is their heaven. And this will be their last heaven. Once this last captivity fall, it's going to be the end of everything that they established because of our captivity, which is their heaven. That got to fall too. Uh, the white rulership, white supremacy, all that garbage and nonsense it's going to end. It not only got to end, it's going to end. It's inevitable. Okay, it's going to happen. It's happening right now. That's why they pushing all these stupid laws and causing all these fake riots and all that with the Black Lives Matter movement, which has nothing to do with black people, at least not the chosen black people. It has to do basically with black people of the LGBT community, you know. So I'll get into that hopefully sometime soon. But nonetheless, you black people are not blessed here in the land of your captivity. So stop believing that nonsense. As long as you're in debt, as long as you're in servitude, as long as you are dependent on other people who don't even look like you, as long as you are working your ass off from 9 to 5 dang near every day at a job you don't even like, as long as you are, you know what I'm saying, struggling, hustling to make ends meet with your bills and all of that, as long as you are having bad health issues and you don't know how to eat right because you refuse to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Creator, especially the dietary laws, then you are in sin and you are not blessed. So I hope that y'all understood. I hope that this was enlightening to you and educational to you. And if you like my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. But please keep it real, positive, good vibes only, and good comments only. Just keep it real. Just, you know what I'm saying? If you got something negative, keep it to yourself. Shabbat Shalom. Cut off. Devils, 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 devils.